Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for April 17th. April 17th is the 107th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 108th in leap years, with 258 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is premium. Premium can be a noun or an adjective. As an adjective, premium means of exceptional quality or greater value than others of its kind. Superior, you might think of a wine made of premium grapes. Can also mean of higher price or cost. As a noun, premium is a prize, bonus, or award given as an inducement as to purchase products, enter competitions initiated by business interests, and so on. If any of you are old enough to remember the S&H green stamps, for example, those were a form of premium. In that time, there were several companies offering premium stamps, and for those of you who aren't old enough to remember that, how it worked was that when you bought something at a participating retailer like groceries, gas stations, department stores, you would be given a number of stamps per purchase according to how much money you had spent. You'd save those stamps up and stick them in little booklets. When you had enough of them, you could redeem them for actual merchandise. Back to our word premium, though, a premium can be a bonus, gift, or amount of money in addition to price, wages, or interest, or the like. In regards to insurance, a premium is the amount paid or to be paid by the policyholder for coverage under the contract, usually in periodic installments. In economics, premium is the excess value of one form of money over another of the same nominal value. The word premium comes to us from Latin, where it meant profit or reward, and the first recorded use of it was in the late 1500s, early 1600s. Premium. For the remaining content of today's episode, we're going to draw on last year's live episode. Thanks for being here and enjoy. And with that, we're going to start with a little tale about a man known as Harald III. He was king of Denmark from 1076 to 1080. Harald was the son of the Danish king Svend II Estridsson. Looks like Harald was the oldest of his father's children, but apparently his parents hadn't gotten married, so he was considered illegitimate and as such would not be in direct line for the throne, so he had to contest for the crown when his father died. He was successful in that, though, and became king of Denmark. I'd say he was a good king, a peaceful ruler. He initiated some important reforms. For example, previous to Harald's rule, customs known as trial by combat or trial by ordeal were common. Now, trial by combat is fairly self-explanatory. People have a difference. They fight it out and the victor wins. The person who wins is the winner. But trial by ordeal, it was an ordeal. And I'm not going to trouble you with the details of what I read about trial by ordeal, but I will say that I don't know how anyone could prove their innocence by going through that. It was pretty awful. So the good news is that Harald did away with these barbaric practices and instituted a trial system more like that of the English, where one could call upon honorable men to swear an oath on behalf of the parties in a trial. Harald had several brothers, of course, who also wanted to be king. Everybody does. And Harald did have to contest for the crown when his father died, but he did become king. He got honorable men to swear on his behalf, is kind of how that happened. Interestingly, Harald only ruled for actually just less than 4 years. And on April 17th in the year 1080, Harald III of Denmark died. He was only 39 or 40 years old, and try as I might, I could not find how he died, what took him. I couldn't find that, what he died from. But he was succeeded as king by his brother Canute IV, half-brother if you want to be technical about it. And Canute IV has a story of his own, but we won't go into that one right now, maybe another time if it comes up on this day in history. Moving to the next subject, Giovanni de Verrazano was an Italian explorer from Florence, Italy. He's notable for being the first documented European to explore the North American Atlantic coast. And in today's story, he was working for the King of France. At the time, European explorers really were interested. What they wanted more than anything was to find a route west from Europe to China or the Indies, the Asian markets. And they seemed to be practically obsessed with the idea. And I could see how they would be. They were really trying to reach China from China's east. And of course, what they encountered was the American continents. But they were sure that there was some kind of water passage. They just didn't realize how big these landforms were. They were looking for a water passage that they could take west to the Pacific Ocean and reach China that way. Now, I don't know, did they think this land was an island or what, but the American continents did prove to be much bigger than they thought, not an island. Definitely no waterway to the Pacific Ocean, no alternate route to China. Well, I mean, if you went all the way below South America, which is what Magellan did. Magellan had completed a Magellan's crew, because Magellan lost his life in the Philippines before the tour was ended. He died in 1521, but his crew carried on and returned to Spain in 1522, making that trip all the way around the world. So de Verrazano may have been aware of this, may have been aware that this was a possibility, that you really could get to the East Indies or even China from the east by crossing the Pacific Ocean. So he was certainly on the lookout for that water passage west. And so it is that on April 17th, 1524, Giovanni de Verrazano, working for King Francis I of France, reached New York Harbor. Now, if you're from or familiar, ever been to visit New York City, you may have heard of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, which connects Staten Island and Brooklyn and is, of course, named after Giovanni de Verrazano, the first documented European explorer in New York Harbor and the Hudson River, as described on April 17th, 1524. Let's see what else we have. Oh, the state of Virginia voted to secede from the United States on April 17th, 1861, becoming the 8th state to join the Confederate States of America. And that's all I have right now. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that includes these videos, and I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that will also have those links. My blog is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.